Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your time and I appreciate you taking the time to attend this training. I want to point out in the chat, if you scroll up, because I know there are some comments in there, if you did not get the PDF, 71 Ways to Build Your Database, I dropped that PDF in there. You don't have to sign up or anything. It's just there for you to download. Also, specifically for those that have attended today, there's another PDF of some scripts that I use personally and when working with online leads, and I just wanted you to have that as a resource. As we go through, they're all the way at the top. You have to scroll all the way up in the chat. I will drop them again at the end. So after we've gone through the presentation, if you can't find them, if you don't see them, please let me know and we will put them in the chat. Again, it's possible if you joined after I dropped them, they may not show up, but we will make sure that you get those. But those are for you just for being here today. And again, appreciate your time and your commitment to hopefully just work on expanding your business. Who am I? I'm Devin Kroner. I'm a real estate agent in the Northern Kentucky area, just outside of Cincinnati, but I am on the Kentucky side. I don't work in Ohio. It's confusing on that side of the river. And then I am also an impact coach with The Locker Room. And the whole reason that this came about was online lead generation has been a very important part of my business. When I started in real estate, I was a dual career agent. I was pastoring a church, a very small church, and nobody in my church was interested in buying or selling. The first people that actually decided to sell a house left my church so that they did not have to feel obligated to work with me. They said because they didn't want me to know all of their financial business, which of course is not how it works, but whatever. So at that time I had 2 kids with a third on the way, and I had to figure out a way in real estate to generate business. I didn't have the sphere. We have no friends and family here. We had moved here and didn't know anybody. So I turned to online lead sources, excuse me, because that was what I needed to begin kind of jump-starting my business. Now, I didn't have a plan at that point. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't get a whole lot of help. In fact, most of the agents in my office, even my broker, said, hey, you know what? If that's what you need to do, fine. That's not really a sustainable way to do it. Turns out, though, if you develop a plan and you have a plan that works, I'm not saying you shouldn't use your sphere, you shouldn't work your sphere, you shouldn't be involved in the community. All those things are necessary and are a part of my business now, but you can use online lead sources as a key part, notice, of building and sustaining your business. And so all this came about because over the years, I've developed a plan that has worked for me. And as I've shared it and other people have used it, it's worked for others as well. And that's why you're here. That's what I want to share with you today. Because what I've found both outside of coaching and just talking with agents, as well as in coaching and working with agents in my area, as well as in different areas, is that there are a lot of people spending a lot of money on lead generation. And I know that I can't see all of you right now, but I see that you're here. If you are doing online lead generation and you sometimes feel like you're spinning your wheels, drop a comment in the chat. Let me know that you're here, not just because you felt like it, but yes, there's frustration. Yes, you see that there's got to be a better way than this, right? There's all these leads that we can take in, and they can come in from anything. They can be leads from open houses. They can be leads from Facebook pages. They can be leads from, the dreaded Z word, realtor.com, Opcity, whatever it might be. We take in all these leads. But again, I'm not a team. I don't have an assistant. I have a transaction coordinator. Thank God for my transaction coordinator. All right. But I have to process all these, as well as at one point I was still working another job pastoring. I'm not now, as well as now I have 4 kids and a wife that I want to spend time with, as well as take care of the clients that I've got working. And so I quickly discovered that this was not sustainable. The way that I was taught to work leads is not wrong, but when you are working online leads, there is a better way. How do I know that? Because nationally, the average for conversion is 3 to 3.5%. That's terrible. Man, you don't even get to advance to the next grade if you've got 3 to 3.5%, right? So there's got to be a better way to do this. And in terms of dollars and cents, it makes a huge difference as you're able to increase your conversion if you're spending the same amount. All right. So what is it that's going on? Let me show you my numbers. I can't talk about you. Let me talk about me. And this is real data from my business. Okay. My 2020, I'm using 2020 because 2021 isn't over. I wanted to give you a whole year's worth of data. My 2020, my primary lead source, I converted at 11%. That's 3.14 times better than the national average. That means more money in my pocket. Here's the thing, spending the same amount. All right. Primary lead source, I got 217 leads. Now I want to stop right here and I want to talk about what is a lead. All right. A lot of people, a lot of companies say, we'll generate you leads. We'll generate you leads. We'll generate you. We'll get you 20 leads. We'll get you 30 leads. If I don't have a name, a phone number, and an email address, it is not a lead. And I do not pay you for it. It's that simple. Now, there are companies that I work with. One is Market Leader. I don't use them to generate leads. I do generate some stuff off of them. And it's usually just an email when I get it and a first name. I don't consider that a lead. Now, am I going to follow up with them? Am I going to email them? Am I going to reach out? Absolutely. But if I don't have a phone number and a name and an email address so that I can contact people, it's not a lead. Companies that I've signed up for, that's what I'm getting, I don't renew, I don't continue on because that's not a lead. Don't pay if you can't get a hold of people. Tip number 1, not even part of it. All right. So 217 leads. I got more prospects. That's what I call a prospect. If I get a first name and an email address, that's a prospect. I'm going to reach out to them. I have special drip campaigns. I have special follow-up that I do for that, but that's not a lead. I'm talking about people that I am able to hopefully get in front of. Now, sometimes I realize the phone number might be wrong, but if I have a name, a full name, and an email address, I can usually find the phone number. All right. If the email address is wrong, a lot of times it's just because they mistyped it. I can figure that out. So sometimes some of these leads, you still have to do a little bit of work, but I generate the leads. Out of those 217 leads, on top of the close to 500 prospects that I got beyond that, I closed 24 transactions, 24 deals. That was $103,000 GCI. Okay, that's not bad. Most agents would love to make $100,000 GCI just in their business. I did that in 2020 off one lead source. I did it in 2019 off of one lead source. I did it by April of this year off of one lead source. It's not the only lead source I use, guys. All right, that's a lead source where I pay for the lead though. Let me give you some data on a different type. OpCity, that's a referral-based lead. I don't pay for that lead up front. I get the lead. If I close it, if I convert it, I pay a referral fee. Now, I'm giving you 2019 numbers for OpCity here because that's my last complete year. I didn't take a single OpCity lead during the pandemic when everything was shut down. I was busy enough as it was. We were watching what was going on. I kind of consolidated. I'm back to using them in 2021, but in 2020, I didn't use them. So my last complete year, 2019 data, 123 leads claimed. I was 4th in my market. There were 400 agents in my market right now. I'm not 4th at the moment because I just restarted with them. But in 2019, I was 4th in my market in OpCity in terms of production. All right. 123 leads claimed, 43 clients met, 12 closings, GCI of $154,000. Why am I 3 times better than the national average? It's not because I'm special. It's not because I'm smart. It's not because I have some superpower, although I like to think this is a superpower when you have a plan. I have a plan, and then I pick areas that buyers want to be. If you take nothing else from this class, even if you don't like my process that I'm going to give you in a moment, if you are going to generate leads and you don't want to spend a crap ton of money to get no results, pick the areas the buyers want, not the areas the agents want. I'm not marketing in areas where all the other agents want to be. Do I want to sell $1 million listings? Of course I do. But you know what? It's going to cost me a lot more to compete in those zip codes, in those towns, in those markets than it does for me to compete in the USDA areas, in the FHA areas where the first-time home buyers are really, really looking. And the way I built my business was in marketing to first-time home buyers. Why? Are they buying the most expensive houses? No. But you know what? As I've done this for several years now, they're starting to sell the first houses we bought. They're moving up. They're loving me, so they're referring me out. I am building long-term business. Part of online lead generation and having a plan is to have a long-term strategy. If your whole goal is I just need to convert the next deal, we need to talk about and evaluate your business and where you are and what you're doing, because that is not sustainable and you're going to starve to death. All right. We don't want that. Let's find a better way. All right. How do the numbers work? Again, I broke it down for you. 2020 in terms of my ad spend. Now, I understand your market's probably different. If you're in Phoenix, if you're in San Francisco, if you're in Miami, if you're in New York, you think I could spend $435 a month on lead generation in one system and not generate anything. I understand my market's different, but work with me on this because the math is the same. If you increase the ad spend, but you're increasing the cost of the houses that you're selling, all right, you're still gonna make more money. Okay, math is math. I love that about it. So $435 a month, that means for the year, one system, okay, my primary system, I spent $52.26 to generate leads. That's at 217. But I made $103,000 in GCI. Now, again, there's expenses, there's split, there's taxes. Please don't forget your taxes. All right, when you sell a house, please, 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 free tip of the day, make sure you are setting some aside for your taxes, especially if you're a new agent, make sure you're setting some aside for your taxes. So I take out my expenses, but then I still have to deduct the cost of the ads that I bought. That's additional, all right? So that means $77,000 went into my bank account. I spent $5,000, I made $77,000, rounding a little bit, but again, 14-time ROI, better than a 14-time ROI. You don't get that on the stock market, honey. You get that by having a plan and working the plan. That's how you get it. 2019, 44 transactions. This is personal. This is me. Again, dual agent at that point, pastoring full-time in a church, as well as selling real estate. 2020, I made the transition full-time into real estate. Again, 44 transactions. I was happy with that, with shutdowns and COVID and all that stuff happening. But I started using other systems and finding my plan still works. 2021, 28 closed already. I'm closing 3 on Monday of the 5 pending. I've got 4 listings coming. I've got 18 approved buyers. I've got 4 in credit repair that all came out of lead systems that I've worked. Plus, I'm doing my sphere. Plus, I'm doing those other things, right? So I've got multiple things going on. This year, all lead systems that I work, everything, not just one, all of them, I will spend $11,500 total, period, paragraph. I hit $100,000 in income in April. Guys, the process works when you work the process. So why doesn't it work for a lot of people? Well, I have a whole course for our partners in the locker room where I explain these. I talk about the mindset. I'm not going to touch on all this today. If you want to know more, you should get involved with us in the locker room. You let me know and we'll talk about it further. We can get you in. So many resources available. But I want to focus today on this lack of a plan. I want to give you a plan. But I want to touch on the fact first that mindset matters. All right. I didn't coin that phrase. Somebody much more famous than I uses it a lot, but mindset matters. If you go into working online leads with the attitude and the mentality that this is not going to do very well, online leads suck, guess what? Your online leads are going to suck and you're not going to do very well. But I go in and approach every lead gen system that I work with the mentality, there is business here. I've got to find it. It's like mining for gold, mining for diamonds. There's a lot of dirt to get to the gold. There's coal that you have to break through to get to the diamonds. It doesn't mean it's not there, but the thing is, a lot of people miss it because they get so focused on dirt. All right, here's the plan. I'm just going to let you take that in for about 5 seconds. Does any of this look like rocket science to you? It's really not. It's really not. Let me explain these points, okay? First of all, pick your areas carefully. Again, I can't overstate this. There are areas in my market that are more expensive. I want to sell houses in those areas, but for me to spend money marketing in those areas, I would have to spend 10 times what I currently spend to get one sale. That's not effective to me. There are agents that do it, but that's not effective to me. Again, if you want luxury, there's a way to do luxury, but this isn't really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about building a sustainable business over time that is going to continue to produce, all right? Pick your areas carefully. Second, if you're not in the top 3, forget it. Now, some might say, well, that's very specific to certain lead types. No, it's not. Every online lead generation type has a metric for how they determine your leads and the quality of leads that you get. Again, OpCity, if you've ever worked OpCity leads, everybody knows you start off getting terrible OpCity leads. Terrible. I'm going to show you what in a minute that I converted. But the whole point of them giving you the terrible leads is they want to see if you're going to follow their rules, if you're going to work the system, if you're going to take care of the clients. When you prove that you do that, your metric score with them rises. You start getting better leads. You start getting leads faster. All right. Back in 2019, when I was 4th in my market, the people that were working OpCity in my office, one day we did a little test. We were all sitting around. We all had our OpCity app open. There were 7 of us in there, okay? We did this little test. I got an OpCity lead notification 30 seconds before anybody else got it. Why? Because I was 4th in the market. Same lead, but I had 30 whole seconds. So you think, well, that's not a whole lot of time. In lead claiming, that's a ton of time. I'm able to look at that lead. I'm able to look at the price point. I'm able to look at whether or not they're approved, decide if I want it. So guess what that tells me? Those people are not getting the best leads because the people who are doing the business are the ones that are getting it. I was able to claim those leads. They never even got the notification, or I pass on a lead and then they get the notification. And some people say, well, that's not fair. Well, sure it is, because I put in my time working the crap stuff first and showed that I was able to do it. All right. Zillow, same way. Some people love Zillow. Some people hate Zillow. The thing is, you can make money off of Zillow if you know what you're doing right now. It's the reality, and everybody looks at Zillow. Again, that's part of the whole course in the locker room. I'm not going to go into that. But when you look at Zillow's marketing, you see that there are agents in every market. If you're not in the top 3 of those agents in the market, you might as well not waste your ad dollars in that zip code. Why? Because you're not going to get the leads. Those top 3 agents are the ones who are going to get those. You're going to get the stuff that they don't have time for and they don't want. All right. The next thing is take the calls. If I'm going to spend $5,000 a year in one lead source, you better believe that if they send me a lead, I'm reaching out to that person. Don't spend money and then wait 5 days to reach out. Those people are gone. They've talked to another agent. They've forgotten about the property. They've moved on to something else. Take the calls. If you're busy, like I was busy, dual career, I couldn't take all the calls. I hired an ISA, agent assist folks. I'm not saying you need to use them. What I loved about them is they gave me a free month trial. They give that to everybody. And I was able to put my leads in. And when I couldn't call, they took the calls. They asked a few qualifying questions and then either transfer them over to me or set an appointment if I wasn't available. If you don't have an ISA, if you don't have a team that you're working with, right, find somebody who can take the calls for you if you're not available. Pay another agent. $10 for a couple of hours or for a day or something to take a call for you and just set an appointment, whatever you have to do. But don't buy leads if you aren't going to take the calls. All right, you're wasting your money and you are going to be very frustrated. A lot of the agents that I talk to in coaching that are frustrated about online lead gen, this is part of it. They're like, well, I'm just not getting conversions. I'm not getting, but then you look at their systems, you look at their internal portals and those lead things. It's like, well, you had 20 leads last month. How many of these people did you talk to? Well, I only got one, but they called them 2 days later. Guys, that's not effective. That's not a sustainable way to do business. This is a relationship business. Online leads is time and relationship. Speed to lead plus relationship. You have to build the relationship though as you go. And that leads into number 4. And this is where it gets different from the way most of us are taught. Okay. Meet them, qualify them later. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not going to spend time working leads that are unqualified. I'm not saying that. I don't go and show somebody who isn't qualified 10 houses. But if you are a lead that comes in looking at 123 Main Street, I am going to take you as quickly as we can to 123 Main Street. I don't care if you're qualified or not. Why? Because I want to get you into number 5, controlling the process. I want to get you into my ecosystem. All right. When people are looking at online stuff, Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, Quazo, whatever it is, okay, YLOPO, all of these things, they have a microwave mindset. They are looking at something right now, okay? I was sharing with some agents the other day, the average person, when they click a button and say they want help with a property, they are looking at that property on 4 different websites in 2 minutes. So if they're looking on Zillow, they're looking on Realtor.com, they're looking on Homes.com, they're looking on, whatever.com, the same house, which you and I know is the same information because it's all the IDX feed from the MLS. They don't know that though. The consumer doesn't know it. They're looking for different pictures. They're looking for different information on the property, 4 different places in 2 minutes. You know what that means? They've probably clicked more information 2 to 3 times if I'm the first one. So if I am not willing to have a little bit different mindset in working online leads, and they come in and they say, hey, I'm interested in 123 Main Street. Oh, well, let's set up a buyer's consultation. Let's set an appointment tomorrow to get together and talk about your needs. You've lost them because one of those other agents on one of those other sites that reaches out is going to take them and show that property. And we know that the overwhelming amount of people work with the first agent that they meet and talk to. That's got to be you if you want to make your money. All right. Do I believe in buyer consultations? Yes, I do. Do I believe that leads need to be pre-qualified before we go out and start showing houses? Yes, I do. My sphere, my family, previous clients, referrals, I'm going to go through that process. But when you come off of a Realtor.com, when you come off of a Homes.com, when you come off of a Zillow or whatever it might be on a specific property, the difference in me making $100,000 off of one lead source and a lot of people not even making what they're spending is when they call me and say, I want to go see that property. My first question is, awesome. Have you been working with an agent? No, I'm just looking online. I've talked to some people, but I'm not committed to anybody. I'm not working with anybody specifically. Wonderful. My second question is, when do you want to see that house? I don't care at this point if they're qualified. I said, well, what if they can't buy that house? It doesn't matter. Right? They are showing interest. And if I don't work with them, I am going to lose them. But here's what I do. So you call me, you say, I want to go see, I'm looking on Realtor.com. I want to go see 123 Main Street. Okay, you're not working with an agent. When would you like to go see that house? We want to go see it. It's 2:25. Can we get in around 5 o'clock today after work? You know what? Let me make an appointment. And while we're waiting for that appointment to be confirmed and before we meet together, have you already gotten pre-approved? Have you talked with a lender? Do you have your financing secure? Or would it be helpful for you if before we meet at 5 o'clock, I have one of my lender partners reach out and go through the process with you? Bam, I just got you into my ecosystem. The people that say no, I'm still going to go meet with them because we've set the appointment, but I know already that I'm going to have to ask some different questions at the property. Basically, I do my buyer's consultation in that first property. We're walking through, what do you like? Tell me about your timeline. Are you renting? Do you have a house to sell? You're looking, this is a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. Is this kind of what we're looking for? Do you like this area? Do you need these schools? I'm asking all those questions that we usually set this special appointment for in the house. Why? Because they were looking at that house. And I cannot tell you the number of times that before we get to that appointment, I've had them pre-qualified. Before they walk out of that house, I have them on the phone with the lender. And then controlling the process and automating what you can. All right, this all flows together, 4, 5, and 6. When we walk out of that first house, if they're not either already pre-qualified or connecting to a lender, they have an appointment set, then I have a very specific next step. My next step is I'm going to start sending you some listings when you are ready to get pre-qualified and talk to your lender so we know exactly what you're able to buy. Then we will refine this process and we will go see more properties. That is the step. They know, and they know I'm going to follow up with them tomorrow. I'm going to follow up with them on Monday, whatever it is, based on their schedule and my schedule. All right. So I'm going to be sending them stuff. I want to get them off of realtor.com. I want to get them off of Zillow. I want to get them into my ecosystem. All right. But I'm giving them a specific next step. If they've already had a conversation with the lender or they have an appointment to have a conversation with the lender, then again, I'm giving them a specific next step. Okay. I'm going to follow up with you tonight to see how that conversation went tomorrow morning to see how that conversation went. Then what we're going to do is we're going to build your online search portal together, making sure that we are looking for the kinds of properties that are going to meet your need. I will call you at BAM. Always, always, always controlling the process, giving a definitive next step. But then whether they are qualified or getting there or not, I'm automating it. I'm putting them into a drip campaign if they're not. All right. I'm still going to stay in touch, but I'm going to put them into a drip so that some of it's automated because I've got new leads I've got to follow up with. I've got current clients I've got to take care of. All right. I'm putting them into, I use Market Leader specifically for their newsletters. Like I don't generate leads out of Market Leader on purpose. I do it on accident a little bit because I share the website or other people who are in there share the website, but I use it for their drips. I use it for their search and for their drips. I put people in there for their newsletter. I've never even looked at one of the newsletters I send out, but I send it out every month. And people tell me that they like the newsletter. I have clients who have closed houses that still get the newsletter and tell me that they like the newsletter. So I don't know what it is, but apparently it's pretty good. All right. They have a really good search, a nice IDX feed that I think is really pretty and easy for folks to follow. I can't believe I just said pretty to all of you, but I did. All right. So we're automating what we can, but I am still giving them specific next steps on what I need them to do and what I am going to do. That's the plan, guys. It's not hard and it's not complicated. Understand this too. Again, I have this little tip here for you. High-end zip codes are going to be the most pricey. So again, if you want to work those, that's fine, but understand you're going to spend more and you're going to generate less leads, which means there's more pressure to convert to be able to make that money back. All right. So what I do here you go. I'll show you the map. Is if it's either a high price zip code or a zip code that is really popular, or an area, could be a town. Again, this is a Zillow map. Don't get caught up on that. Okay, it's just a map of my area. All right, but this area where the arrow is a really popular area. It's not the most expensive zip code in my market, but there's a college nearby, and so there's a lot of parents who are buying condos or homes for their students to live in, and then in 4 years they're selling that stuff. So there's a lot of turnover, and it's really popular. So there are a lot of agents marketing in that zip code. The same amount of money that I would spend in that zip code is what I spend in all of the zip codes on that map that you see that are blue and that pink one. Same dollars, but instead of generating 1 or 2 leads in the zip code where the arrow is pointing, I generate 30 plus leads in the zip codes around it. What do you think is more effective? All right, know your market, guys. Know where the buyers are looking. Okay, people like the zip code, but it's very competitive as well. So what do they start doing? They start looking close by. Again, there's a college there. I know this. I know my market. People want their kids to be as close as possible. If they can't get it in that zip code, what are they going to do? They're going to look right next door. So I start doing my lead gen in those areas around so that I can spend less money, so that I can generate more leads. That's what it's all about. I want to generate more leads. I want to get in front of more people. I want to walk through my process with them. Why? Because it's going to help me do more business. Also, know your area and your market. In my area, along the river between Ohio and Kentucky, there's a special buyer program for first-time home buyers. That's a down payment assistance program. It's grant money. Basically, if the house qualifies for FHA and the person qualifies credit-wise, they can get $7,500 in free money. Again, I'm marketing to a lot of first-time home buyers, so I am immediately telling people that are looking in those zip codes about that program. You know what's amazing to me is how many people have talked with other agents. They're not committed to them, they're not working with them, but they've talked with other agents. Nobody else has mentioned that program. They're looking at the same houses, they're looking in the same areas, but there are agents in my market that don't even know about it. There are lenders in my market that don't know about that program. I have had to instruct some lenders in my market. Oh, I've never heard of that before. Guys, you got to know your market. We're supposed to be the professionals, all right? Know the market, know the programs. If there are banks out there or lenders that offer special programs, down payment assistance at different times, we have that in our area, where there are certain lenders that a couple of times a year, they'll do that as a special down payment thing. I know that. Why? Because I want to be able to share that with these online leads. Why? Because they're looking for the best deal. All right. You go to Amazon, you're looking for the best deal. You go to Macy's in person, you're not looking for the best deal. You're just looking to buy something. You're looking for something specific maybe, but you don't care if somebody else has a better price. That's why you're not online, you're in person. These guys are online. They want the best deal and they want results now. So my job is to be the expert in my market and to be the speed to lead person that gets them the results and gets them the answers as quickly as possible. But I want to do that as effectively as possible too. And sometimes that means I have to pay attention to my area. Let me give you a case study, a personal case study here, okay? This is a house, this is an actual picture of a house in my market in a zip code that I market in regularly. House is listed for $100,000. Obviously it's a starter, okay, to begin with. It's not a high-end home, but I can tell you in person, it looks a lot worse than even in this picture, okay? This house is probably worth about $50,000, even in my market. All right, it's not much. There's not many pictures of it in the listing. There's not a whole lot of information on the listing. Okay, house is in terrible condition. The roof needs to be replaced. The deck is falling down. The pictures, the flooring looks okay, but when you get there in person, you realize there's been water that's gotten into the house. The floors have water damage. It's a mess. Okay, 2020 though, this house was on the market all of last year and the beginning of this year. They put it on for a month. It's not selling. They take it off for about a week and then put it back on with a new MLS number. Same pictures, same information. Didn't do any improvements, didn't do any changes. I was the only person marketing in this zip code on Zillow for this market. So on this house, not the whole market, just this house. Okay, the next zip code over is that one where the arrow was pointing to. It's very, very popular. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to this zip code. I'm the only one there. I spend $11 a month marketing, and I'm the only person in there. This house brought me 15 calls, 13 in-person showings that turned into 9 sales for $1.5 million GCI. I spent $132, period, and I made $37,500 in commission. For every dollar I spent, I made $284. Because that's a good ROI. Why? Because I'm paying attention to the market. And what I knew is that price or that expensive area near the college that's really popular, there's nothing for sale there. But this area, there's some stuff for sale. It's garbage. Okay. But people are looking at it online. They're thinking, well, this has potential. It's a good price. They're calling about it. Nobody's bought this house. The house is still for sale. 2020, we're 2021. House is still for sale. But I was able to convert off of it. Why? Because I know my market. I'm paying attention to my market. I'm responding. All of those people, those 9 people that converted, every single one of them, I didn't get them pre-qualified first. I got them in the house first. 3 of them I had on the phone with the lender as we walked out the door. Because they said, well, we don't know what I said, you need to get pre-qualified so we know what kind of loan you've got. Because if you were to do a rehab loan, sure, you could buy this house. But if you get qualified for an FHA loan, this house isn't even going to be something that we should be looking at. We need to make sure we're looking at the right stuff. Let's talk to my lender. They're on the phone with the lender as we walk out the door and I'm locking it. Pre-qualified that night, setting them up on the right search. We're going and seeing stuff the next day. Good as done. Here's another one for you. This is OpCity. All right, so the first one, I'm buying the lead. This one is a referral lead, so the lead is pushed to me. I don't pay anything until I convert. This actually ended up being a wholesaler. I sold 4 houses for this wholesaler in the area. He bought a portfolio. 4 of them happen to be up here in my market. He's down in Florida. He doesn't even know where we are. All right, so he gets connected with me through OpCity, sell 4 houses. This one I loved because it was kind of funny in a sad way. The owner had died. The house had been just bouncing around for about 5 years. The renters who lived there when the owner died still live there 5 years later. No electricity, no running water. The sewage line was broken, but they were still living in it. House was a lot of fun. It was a mess. All right. Had to evict them. That was a whole experience. We list the house for $10,000. And honestly, I thought if we get $1,000 for this thing, I'm going to be happy. We sold it for $10,000. All right, to a guy who actually lived on the street and owned 4 other houses that were rentals on the same street. All right, so my commission off of this OpCity house was only $600. OpCity takes 35% referral fee. So they took 210. Did I make any money off of that listing specifically? No. But watch this now. I end up listing 3 other houses on the street because those people looked at what I did here, said, man, if you can sell that thing, we know you can help us. There is business to be found. But I got to go digging through the dirt to get to the gold and the diamonds. All right. $600 commission turns into 3 additional sales. Plus, I picked up 2 investor buyers who didn't buy that house, but they bought another house. They're turning them into rentals, so I'm not selling them really expensive stuff. 432,000 GCI for that year, but those 2 investor buyers buy 1 to 2 houses every single year since 2020, 2021. Guys, are we buying expensive stuff? No, they're investors. They're turning them into rentals, so I don't get to sell them, but these guys are locked in. $210 referral fee generated over $22,000 in commission. There's gold to be had in online leads if you know how to work them. All right. Again, what's the secret sauce? I don't think it's that much of a secret. It's really more of a mindset and an attitude that I'm going to do something different. All right. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. I don't want a 3 to 3.5% conversion. I want better than that. So I'm going to do different. Pick your zip codes, pick your areas carefully, and be on top of your metrics. Number 1, easy. Pay attention to your market. Number 2, take the calls. You're going to generate online leads. Make sure you are calling these. Don't just text them. Do I text people? Yeah. I usually text, unless it's a live transfer lead, I usually text them first as kind of a warm introduction to make sure they know my name. And I'll ask the question, is now a good time to call, or should I call you a little bit later? Because maybe they filled out the form and they're at work on a break. Now's not a good time to call. All right. Again, just me, but I know if they respond, that's just another layer where I'm building that relationship. I'm building trust with them. All right, but I am calling. Then to get the appointment, get them into the house. Now, again, if you're in a market that's like a vacation market, this is going to be a little bit different. The big thing is you want to get them on the phone. You want to get them, make sure what they're buying, what their timeline is, that you get them set up searching for the right kinds of properties. But the point is, get them into a next step. All right. Don't just wait for them to lead. This is a dance and somebody has to be the one to lead it. All right. That's going to be me. Why? I'm the professional. I paid for the lead. I'm going after the business. I am directing and controlling the process. All right. But then leverage partners. And this is so key, especially if you're newer in the business or if you're struggling. Leverage partners. Of my 24 Zillow deals last year, one lender did 20 of them. Pays for some of my Zillow budget. He gets all of my Zillow leads. Now, are there some people that have come in pre-qualified? Yes. Am I taking them away from those lenders? No. All right. I don't want people taking clients away from me. I'm not going to do that to anybody else. That's not the normal, but it does happen. All right. So he gets all of those leads. I'm not giving Zillow leads to anybody else. Why? Because he's paying for them. Guess what? He loves me. He answers my call at 11 o'clock at night. If I need a pre-approval right now, he pulls his car over and gets me a pre-approval right now, even if he's driving down the road. Why? Because we've done 24 deals in the last year. We did 20 deals a year before. We've already done, I think, 16 this year. Okay. He loves me. Build those relationships and leverage your partnerships. A different lender works with me on my market leader. All right, so he gets to filter all of those leads that come in. I have a different one that works with me for open houses and my flyers and my single property websites and the ads that I do. All right, so leverage your partners and then automate the process as much as you can so that, yes, you're reaching out, you're touching base, you're texting and calling, but get them to where they're set up with a property search. Get them to where they're set up with a newsletter, and then you can refine it. All right, if you don't get a whole lot of information, they don't want to get pre-approved right now, you can still set them up with a property search based on the property that they were interested in. And then as they start refining, as they start looking and get into the sphere more, as you contact them and are able to get more information from them, you can refine that property search. But you know they were interested in 123 Main Street. Why not make sure that they're seeing other properties like 123 Main Street, right? It's a service mindset. Speed to lead, and I am here to serve. I'm not here to be served. I am here to serve. That's it. That's the process. It's not complicated, but it is a little different. Because again, what we're normally taught to do, you get that lead, you bring them in, you sit them down, you have a buyer's consultation, you make sure they're approved, you set everything up, and then you go and you start seeing properties. That works. I believe in that process very, very much, but that does not work with online leads. These people want answers now. These people want results now. I have a lead that came in yesterday. I got a live transfer. Somebody's on the phone looking at a $1.2 million, 250 acre farm. I did ask if they're working with an agent. I start talking to her. She's not. Again, I didn't ask the question if they're qualified yet. I'm asking, what is it she's wanting? She immediately has questions about the property. You know what I did first? I said, let me get you those answers. So I start working with that listing agent, I'm getting her those answers. While I'm waiting, I'm continuing to have that conversation. Are you guys selling? Yes, they're selling a property that's still going to be about a $500,000 property. They don't have an agent to list that yet. All right. But if I go right into, let's set an appointment, let's get you pre-qualified, I'd scare her off. Why? Because she has questions first. She doesn't even know if she wants this property. She just knows that she's interested in it. So she says, let me ask these questions. I'm going to get her those answers. And while I'm waiting, I'm leading her through my process. It's a different way of thinking about it. But again, you have to have the right mindset with online leads. If you don't, you're not going to see the conversions. It's going to be really, really frustrating. And that's not what I want for you. I want you to be successful, and I know you can be, but you have to do it the right way. So a couple of things kind of as we follow up, and then we'll get into any questions that you have. If you need information on an ISA, again, I'm not saying you got to use them. They do give a free trial. The Agent Assist folks are great. I have other downloadable stuff. It's free on my website if you're interested in that. I will post the calendar link here again if you're interested in setting a time that you would like to talk more about your business and evaluate where you are and what you need to do to push forward to the next level. And then if you're a broker, I want to say this, I am in the process of working on a class specifically for you guys to help you help your new agents that may be struggling, may not know what to do, 9 different ways that you can help them generate leads and generate business that either don't cost a dime or are going to be pennies on the dollar. And I would love to be able to share that with you. But at this point, I want to open it up for questions. I want to answer any questions that I can for you. And just take the time to make sure that we address anything that's unclear or anything that might help you further. And I'm going to drop in the links for the 2 free resources again here. So I'm looking at the chat as well as I'm opening this up and dropping this in. So if you did not get the 71 ways to build your database resource, here it is again for you. Again, that was free just for everybody that signed up. And then if you want the scripts, I'm dropping that in here as well. Again, it's just 3, but these are the actual scripts that I use in working with online leads. Hold on, I have to find it. And here it is for you. And these are PDFs. Again, they don't cost anything. You don't have to sign up for anything. They're just available for you to use. All right, that's that. I'm going to close that down. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to take any questions that you guys have. Wait for just a moment and see if there's anything, or if I missed something here. Let me see. Scroll back up. No sphere, no strategy, no idea what I'm doing. Well, again, I would recommend, Cheryl, start with the referral things. Again, are you going to pay more to close a referral-based lead like an Opcity, like an Ojo Labs? Yes, you are. The referral fee is going to be more usually than what you would pay out of pocket to generate leads, but it's free. You get the lead and you don't pay anything unless you close it. So talk to your broker about Opcity. Any agent can go. Ojo Labs, I think it's just OJO Labs. Google it, though. It is a lead gen platform. It's a little bit newer. That is the same sort of concept as an Opcity, where you can generate leads. They send you a text message, a push notification with a link. Somebody's looking in your area. You click it. You have like 10 seconds to decide if you want to take the lead or not, or it goes on to somebody else, and then you get the chance to work with that lead. I have not closed any yet. I just started using them about 35 days ago, but I do have a few that I've been working with. And again, I'll pay a referral fee if I close them, but it doesn't cost me anything. So if you're new, you don't have money, you don't have any idea, look for those kinds of online lead sources that are referral based, that are free. Can we put the link back up? Yes, absolutely. Not seeing the PDFs. Okay, so Stephanie says she's not seeing the PDF of the 71 ways to build your database or the scripts. Is anybody else seeing those PDFs? I know that they were showing up earlier, and I just dropped them back in. There's the calendar link. Okay, Claire does see the PDFs. So if you're on a phone, it may not show up. Again, I'm not entirely sure, but I know here on the computer, it is showing up. If you don't see the PDFs, do this. Send me a message privately with your email address, and I will make sure that I email them to you. I don't want you to miss out on being able to get them. So just send a message directly to me with your email address so that I don't forget. I got my pen here. I will write you down. and make sure that I send those to you. Okay. Are there any other questions? Looking. Very good. So again, if you, the whole point of the link is if you want to talk further about, where you are in your business, we're here to help. That's what I do as a coach. That's what we do at the Locker Room. We have wonderful tools, our Locker Room University, lots of resources that can help agents, help brokerages go forward. But if you want just to kind of evaluate where you are, that consultation is free. Okay. Obviously, we have a whole coaching program, but I would be more than happy to take about 45 minutes with you to kind of look at where your business is and kind of grade and evaluate different areas of your business, and then what are some logical next steps for you to be able to go forward. Okay, I do see your emails here, and so I'm writing those down and making sure that I have that, and I will email these off to you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Also, if you're a single agent and you feel like this is content that would be helpful for other agents in your brokerage, tell your broker, have them reach out to me. I would love to come in and virtually teach this for your whole brokerage. I'd be happy to do that. There's no cost for that, to come in and share this training. I'm here to be a resource for you. Yes, I'm an agent. Yes, I'm a coach, but I'm doing this because I want to help. I understand. I was there. I was there with the kids, the young kids, and not sure what to do. And there were moments that I was panicking, especially last year with shutdown when I stepped away from the church and just went into real estate. There were moments where I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I get it. I really do. But I'm here to be a resource just as much as I can. Can I put the link back up? Yes. Send the PDF. Yes. Okay. So I'm getting your emails. I'm going to do that. All right, guys, if there are no other specific questions, then we're done. You guys are free to go. I know I said up to 90 minutes, but I wanted to make sure I left plenty of time for questions. I'm not going to keep you here because I know your time is valuable. So you guys are free. If you do have questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you so much. Hopefully this was valuable to you. And if there's anything I can do for you in the future, please don't hesitate to let me know. One more time, I will drop the calendar link if anybody wants to take a look at that and set up a time to talk further. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I appreciate you. Have a great day.